Hi everyone, it's Felix. Welcome back. It is today, the 25th of July. I'm recording this. So I've just come in to do an energy update for the month of August. And now, just a little review of July as we're still in it. There have been massive, massive, massive opportunities for change, opportunities for shifting. That really kind of, oh, I want to say for me, they really opened up over the past week. That's not true. They opened up during the Syrian Stargate at the start of the month. Um, However, this past week, oh my God, has it been rough? It really, really has. The energies have been so volatile, I've found, and it keeps on bringing us into points where we really come into triggers. And it's like when we come into these trigger points, are we going to fold? I know I have once or twice, and I've just had to go and lock myself away to kind of calibrate and resolve. Now, I was asking over and over again, what is going on that's making me feel like this, that's been making me kind of get so triggered and feel so uncomfortable. And I heard repeatedly over and over again, coronal mass ejections, coronal mass ejections, coronal mass ejections. I'm like, okay, right. So after doing some kind of research into this, obviously the coronal mass ejections, some of you may not know, but some of you may, are, it's like a solar, like caused by a solar storm, which kind of explodes somewhat. I don't know the correct terms. But essentially, like the solar storms occur, which send these things called coronal mass ejections, these waves of frequency, these waves of photonic light that come to the Earth like a radiation. And us as beings of energy, as energy beings without the skin, without the meat, without the tissue, we are beings of light. Now, that energy is stored within, well, throughout our whole being, but through the DNA, we have, and our cells, our cellular memory, we have trauma that needs to, that's being stored within there to keep us basically in like a lower density. Now, these ejections, what they do is they bring on a trigger point for us to feel that trauma, feel that anger, sadness, and I mean, you name it, really. I've gone through every single ocean under the sun this week. And to be honest, like what it felt like to me was when I was coming down off mental health medication to change onto a different one years ago. When you stop taking a mental health medication that you're on quite a high dosage, but it is like wrong for you, it brings you into these cycles of emotional upheaval, let's say. So it's like drawing all of this different stuff up to the surface that this medication had suppressed. So it kind of acts as like a kind of blanket energetically, if you will, to prevent. I'm not a doctor, I don't know the correct terms for this, but you know, it kind of just suppresses all of the emotions that we are to keep us in that sort of state of zombie-like states. So yeah, that being said, these coronal mass ejections have brought up so much stuff in so many people. I'm walking down the road and I'm seeing cars drive past, and you can feel the anger coming off them. Not the cars, but the people inside them. Strange if the cars had emotions. So yeah, it's like really, it's been a very, very trying time for many people to kind of really feel their way through. And now going through all of these real heavy points of emotion and lifting this density up and out, we're really lifting and making space for the higher light source field walk-in consciousness to move in, to bring us into our highest expression. Now, as this is all occurring, I kind of see this as the leading up to a rebirth. I think that's probably the best way to kind of describe this for me. For me to say this, it's what it feels like, is that we're leading towards a huge rebirth here. Now, it's interesting because coming into the 28th, 29th, I think it is, we will be moving into Lionsgate period, where it intensifies onto the 8th of August, and then slowly starts to phase out. I think it's around the 12th or the 16th, where we kind of get our bearings back, and it's we're coming back down into more harmonized, balanced reality. Now, this Lionsgate, what I felt for it is that this is a fantastic, potent time to be bringing our creations to the forefront. So I've noticed in myself, and quite a few other people that I've spoken to, they've been feeling like they want to be more creative in their day-to-day lives. So experimenting, I mean, it literally got to the point where I've started buying canvases to paint and sketchbooks to draw in, all of these things to really kind of bring that creativity out of us, like mediums of expression, to navigate what the inner being is trying to tell us. So it's not necessarily like I'm going to draw a picture today. It's that divine creativity, that divine inspiration, where we just kind of let go and allow these creative juices to flow. Okay, so that being said, we're looking at we've been going through quite a deep sacral cleanse at the moment, so we can really reconnect with that divine creativity and start to play and express ourselves through different mediums, maybe that of which that we have enjoyed as a child. You know, just reconnecting with those creative patterns and pathways, you know. So it's quite a nice sort of period to kind of come into. So that being said, the Lionsgate, what I feel is there is a huge birth of creativity that's coming forward, a birthing of self. Now, this creativity doesn't just have to be in like the mediums of painting and artistic creation, but it can also be like a recreation or a rebirth of oneself, a letting go of the older kind of pathways that we were so stuck within, and birthing this newer expression, this new being of self to kind of come to the forefront and then work through in our day-to-day lives. So if we just refer back to the July energy report, one of the things that I saw was people stacking boxes and then emptying them. So it felt very much like they were clearing out the old and unpacking the new, ready to kind of make a move, which in some cases some people have. moving houses and whatnot. And in other cases, really kind of just changing one's lifestyle and changing one's inner world, packing up the old stuff and letting go of it, ready to come into this open expression, this creative expression, this rebirthed, ready to play in the world. Okay, so Lionsgate, I've also felt it's there have been massive pushes for not just for Lionsgate with this, but big pushes to work into one's self-development, self-love, self-compassion, and self-nourishment, to really bring this to the forefront. Now, I'm noticing it in myself, but I'm also noticing it in clients too. And just like this kind of push for self-care and to take time for yourself, and to step into that embodiment, that self-love sacred space where you're just by yourself. So it's really a case of moving out of daily interactions with people and the need to always be there. Sometimes we just need to kind of take a step back and be there for ourselves as well, which is just so lovely to kind of practice. And it really does bring that kind of self gratification, and that harmony, not having to extend your energy out all the time to other people and feel depleted, just to kind of rein it all back in and direct it inward to kind of harness our own energy up into a more elevated level. So I feel like that is it's going to be a really lovely thing to do, a lovely kind of practice to build in if it's already there. Work into finding new ways that can be kind of brought forwards and elevated, if you will. Yeah, I think that's a real nice one. So following Lionsgate, I feel with the saya smarasna atia turushususko maai teresneyatia nanas ma aterasna shasa atia kura amahotenesnia sus sunos norus no kotush monai neresnia teresno atoros mootia samas marasna aia hakatasna atia. Okay, so following Lionsgate, towards the end of August, I feel maybe there'll be more of like a deeper integration period. Once again, when we get these really high potent streams of energy coming in, it really lifts and draws a lot of things to the surface. And over like this consistent period of time, we get into the moments where we feel kind of like down and out again. So looking back to those moments of restoring the depletions and sealing ourselves away, but also integrating certain levels of us that have come to the surface and are ready to kind of be, I want to say accepted, but it's not really accepted. It is definitely integrated back in. Feels like to be accepted and loved once again. So, you know, these parts of the drama that we hold within us, the dramatic sides, the chaotic sides to kind of come up through Lionsgate and then really be loved afterwards. And now that we've seen them, we can sort of integrate them and forgive ourselves, if that makes sense, through these points. So yeah, it's quite a lot that's going to be coming up through August, I feel. I mean, I thought July was quite intense, but I think August has the potentials to extend that. Fun. Okay, so moving on to the next point. I was shown a vision as if I was walking around an art gallery. Now, in this art gallery, there were many things on display, but the thing that really drew my attention was this giant glass cube. Giant glass cube. Now, there were lots of people onlooking and walking around and staring at this glass cube. And it all of a sudden kind of turned a little bit eerie. Right? So I'm looking at this cube as an onlooker. And I can just feel it now. It's like the rise of anxiety, the rise of tension are coming to the surface whilst we're in this room looking at this cube. And I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure in this room. I feel it's almost like this initial feelings as you walk into this art gallery. It's like, oh, this display is perfect. It looks fantastic. It looks really, really amazing, clear, clean, no scuffs, no anything. And as we're walking through, the more pressure that builds, the glass begins to crack. So what I feel with that is, again, we're moving into more a lot more societal pressure, kind of amounting like you must abide by these rules, you must adhere to this inflation, you must pay for all of these things, you must. Now, all of these pressures that are building onto the public is just simply, it's not feasible. Like, it really isn't. Who the hell has money to pay like an extra £1.50 on a box of tea, for example? Or, I mean, I don't drive yet, but the petrol prices is just crazy. It really is. I'm like, driving schools are upping their prices like nearly like crazy amounts now. And just to think about the people that are having to commute in their cars, going long distances, like when it's more feasible for them to be working from home, but they're not allowed because the what's the word am I going to call this? The sickness that was going round has finished, so to speak, and people aren't allowed to work from home anymore. You know, all of this kind of stuff amounting, like how do the public expect to live when they've got all of these pressures? They're like, so many deadlines, prices going up everywhere. Their pay has not, might I add, for many people that I've spoken with, and it's just not possible. Like, so I feel like there's going to be quite a lot of people folding under the pressure through August and onwards as well. So it's not just a kind of just this month kind of thing. I think it's going to progress and get worse and worse and worse, or if we change the light of it, we can see it as getting better and better, because people are being forced to stand up for what they believe in and stand up for themselves. So yeah, that being said, I feel this pressure is kind of getting to breaking point for quite a lot of people. Some of them can still remain there. They've got their sealant so they can seal that glass. But you know, it's how long until the sealant runs out, you know? So we're kind of, I feel like we're getting to a kind of almost like a breaking point, but I feel there's a bit, some people are, but some people are, can go on a little bit longer. Now, as I'm discussing this point, I'm getting this very, very, very stiff feeling through my spine, through my head. And I feel like these, it feels like a seizing up, almost like a gridlock, not knowing which way to turn, not knowing which way to move. And not knowing kind of which direction to move forwards in that's going to be the best for, say, like this family over here, or what's easiest maneuver for this family over there. You know, pressure is mounting and people are losing patience. Like my screen keeps on doing something really funny. They're losing their patience and getting to that point where they're ready to kind of stand up, I feel. So it's like that breaking point period, I guess. Okay, so with that topic being said, the next thing I've really felt is through the space-time continuums is time has been speeding up really, really drastically, or it's been standing still. So shifting and fluctuating between 0 point to acceleration to absolute nothing. So 0 point being the nothing, acceleration being the ultra fast. And it feels to me almost like, actually it looks to me now, because they're showing me, there's a place called Spaghetti Junction in Birmingham, in my hometown. And all of these junctions, all of these roads are they're like intertwining on top of each other and overlapping. And it's like, I can see that junction now. And what it looks like is that these roads or timelines, we can call them in this, are shifting and moving and kind of coming out of the crossovers into different progressions. I'm going to say it's quite weird to explain. So yeah, like I feel here we're coming to multiple convergences of timelines, and sometimes things are shifting out, sometimes things are shifting in. 1 minute you can be aligned to something that you feel is going to bring you a lot of joy. Next thing you know, you've moved out of it and it's all fallen apart within the space of a week. So, you know, with those kind of, what's the word? Uncertain, like the uncertainty for making plans, or you can make the plans, but there is like the timelines are so uncertain now that they just keep on shifting and moving. What's the point in even making plans? Or necessarily have the plans in your mind, in your heart, and then feel your way through them. And then the more you're feeling and navigating through this, you can find yourself kind of almost feels like it's like developing the sentience in a way, or developing the feeling to navigate through the heart as a kind of push for development, but it's also navigating your reality and not to abide by a linear timeline, if that makes sense. So moving through these convergences in a way that is aligned to the heart. And that's what I kind of feel with this. I hope that made sense, because it's kind of, I'm getting a lot of information coming through here as well at the same time. To kind of get this right and get this as accurate as possible, because I know it has been quite a wondrous year so far, and if anything, it's only going to get more spectacular in the eyes of the public. So, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't going to even understand what's going on. But I really do feel like this is a great developmental month to come, where we can really tune into the heart space and really kind of be guided through the heart, guided to the direction that is most aligned for you, the most aligned for your highest development, your highest good. Okay, right. I'll speak about this one quickly, this topic really quickly. I've got quite a lot to get through today. So the next vision I was shown was, I think there's something called Project Bluebeam, where when some kind of hologram is presented through the sky, also it's been talked about upon the truther communities. Now, I was shown this, but as I dived into this, I mean, like, I don't feel like this presentation, this Project Bluebeam, is going to necessarily occur. But what I do feel is that this vision was metaphor for tactics, if you will. So look over here, don't look over there. As more information, more truth is coming to the surface, as like a distraction piece, not to find the correct information. So that being said, we might see some flags that are false through the skies, not through the skies, but in our realities, to kind of review and just navigate. Yeah, so there's that. Now, okay, so that being said, I've just looked back on my other page now as well. What I was also shown here is an archer shooting an arrow and hitting the bullseye. The archer was a businessman carrying integrity and light through his field, his signature. And this was shown to the public, like the public saw this. So whether this topic feeds into the one we've just discussed about the look here, not there, I feel, yeah, that's accurate. I'm only just kind of like drawing the dots to this now, thinking about it now. But I feel like there is a lot of deliverance of truth that's coming through August, particularly through these Lionsgate energies, drawing up the dregs, drawing up the drama, drawing up the nastiness. I'm getting pain coming through my shoulder now. It feels like it's really lifting all of the nastiness to the surface. Now, whenever I have real deep trauma that's coming up, even going back to like the Atlantean timeline sort of zones or areas where I have to clear, I get the most disgusting feeling in where the neck joins to the shoulders. And it sits there, and it also sits through my back. Now, this is the feeling that I'm getting from that. So, you know, that real lift up of the kind of deep dregs coming to the surface. So when we kind of work through and heal these parts of ourselves, that also plays a part in our realities. We will get the confirmation, the validation by having the truth being shown, so to speak, or not even so to speak. It's an actuality. Is what occurs for us to receive a validation, particularly through the collective. When the collective is purging and clearing, it will show by negative takedowns, if you will. So yeah, so that's pretty good. Let me just see a little bit more. The next thing I've written down here, and I seem to remember, because this was all channeled on the 14th of July, it's like over 10 days ago now, and I've gone through quite a lot since then. What I heard was opening whistle sounds as players make their next move forward. So as players make their next move forward, it's almost like they're showing me like a game of basketball, not basketball, baseball, is it, with a bat? So yeah, on this diamond court, I can see the whistles being blown to come into like the next sort of levels, the next stages of the game, if you will. Sayos maros no oyokura shasa niatras maya turushusus. And I can see many takedowns of players on the opposite team. And it's like, it feels like I'm in like a huddle at the moment, like when all the team players come together and they get their heads down and discuss the next plan, like at halftime. And my body has just gone very, very light from the root, sacral, solar areas. Like it all just kind of cleared, and I can see the players coming into position. And now I feel there's almost like a kind of sneak attack coming. I don't know what the sneak attack is, or like a sneak kind of method coming. Like there's a strategic gameplay going on, basically, that is just kind of coming to the forefront now. So that being said, I don't know what this strategy is, but what I do feel and what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing rays of light coming over the light players, and it's the feeling of success, the feeling of winning. Ja korushusus mo ja nai naat mos moras na ja korusus. And I can see the trophy being carried now, as if the match has been won. So how that transpires, I don't know, but that was very interesting. How that kind of just came about then, I'm like quite intrigued more, so I might do a little bit more digging on that later and see what comes up. But at the same time, I also feel like this is encouragement for the collective to know not to give up, not to not to be held in fear, know things that are moving forward, and know that there won't be long left. Really? We'll see. See about that. Yeah, that would be lovely. So yeah, okay. That is the bulk of the report. Now, coming into the last section here, I went into vision and I was brought into like a black and white movie. Now, in this black and white movie, it was like I was watching on, and it was like there was a woman that was saying goodbye to the husband who was going off to fight in the war. And it felt around like World War II, maybe 1940s, about 1940. Um, and as the man sets off, the man goes off to war, I can feel her grieving, and I can feel her worry, and I can feel her fear. You know, when we kind of go through these grievances, it doesn't just have to be with a person that we've lost, but it can also be a grievance can be to do with a job. We lose a job, or we lose lose our lose our favorite pair of shoes. You know, it's not just limited to the person, but it's also when I was going through my awakening, my spiritual awakening, and when I let go of drugs and alcohol, I went through a period of really, really, really deep grieving, to the point that I couldn't even go back to my hometown because it was too painful. And what it was like a grieving of a personality, a grieving of an aspect of me, to step into a brighter future. Now, I do feel, and I have been feeling for myself as well, is that more of these old personalities are coming to the forefront where we don't need them anymore. These created personalities come from a place of fragmentation. It comes from a place of trauma. Because they were put in place for us to have a kind of sense of security, that we needed to be this kind of person to we needed to be this kind of person, not to necessarily show vulnerability or not to show weakness. Now, there are many other ways that we bring these personalities forward as well, but I do feel that they are now coming to a close, where we can really heal them and integrate them again. So letting go of the past and grieving the losses leads in the process leads to a brighter future. So yes, grievances I feel are coming through this, but I feel that there was a lot more to this World War II sort of scene. Now, as we deepen into the vision, or as I deepened into the vision, what I was seeing was World War II planes grounded. They were flying back into land and landing anywhere. Now, the woman from the very start, she was stood in a cornfield when he took off, when he left. And as she stands in the cornfield, I see this plane coming down and landing in the cornfield. Essentially coming back and like in the stance or in the state of like victory, in the state of it's okay, I'm safe, to show that everything is okay. Now this is a little bit jumbled up because that kind of came towards the end of the vision, but also halfway through this, so in between that stage, I'm seeing through the air, I'm seeing multiple aircrafts, and there's a big frenzy in the air. Now, as all these things are up in the air, you know, we can take that frenzy, that craziness, if you will, that instability through the air. We can take that and refer it to the mental field here. We can, I'm just hearing flights of fancy. So we can refer it to a distinct lack of grounding, letting our minds run away without being in a grounded state, looking at all this information on these truth boards, looking at all of this information and not seeing the bigger picture, if you, so to speak, but also not being aware of our realities. So we're kind of like letting our what's this called? This mind, letting my God, letting the mind kind of escape itself there and just really running away with these kind of visions and not being grounded when we see something, thinking the first thing that we see is true. So these points of like not being grounded and discerning. Okay, so that's just something to become aware of through these periods. This, I feel this is more like an ongoing thing. Now, with these kind of articles and things that come through, what I did get coming in through this vision is almost like an anxiety paralysis for many people, and this is kind of the response that is wanted by the negative. They want that fear response to harness and feed. But it also causes disarray through the spirituals, the spiritual sections, and you know, kind of throws us off kilter to be able to work in our best manner. So this is just something to kind of become aware of. Now, what I did also see is the planes coming to ground. Now, they all came to ground upon a tennis court, a blue tennis court. Now, I don't remember which tennis court it is off the top of my head that is blue. It's either Australia or it's the US. So this is something just to kind of take into consideration as well, that we can potentially look for activity in those areas within the tennis court, because I know I think it's either the US Open is coming or the Australian Open is coming through autumn. I know we're in summer, but yeah, just something to be aware of. I only know this because I used to design sportswear, and I did the tennis wear for autumn winter 22 Q3. So it's either going to be in the US or it's going to be in Australia. Okay, so yeah, that being said, yeah, this is kind of what I'm seeing basically. So, but as the planes land, it's almost like a neutralization of hysteria. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. Now, I did pull some cards today as well. And as I was shuffling, I had two cards that flew out of my deck, the Lovers and the Universe. So the Lovers, for August, I feel we're going through again a union, bridging union of ourselves and with those around us, birthing, recognizing what belongs together, and harmonizing that into our day-to-day life. So taking one's place and enjoying life's completion. So yeah, that was a real kind of lovely little thing that flew out. But just to validate everything else that kind of came up as well today, the first one that I pulled and it didn't fly out was Seven of Swords, which I feel to be more chances, more opportunities to see the truth in the reality, being shown to the public, essentially, to kind of navigate and see if they wish to see the truth in their lives. I also feel that is about revealing life's lies as well, to bring those imbalances to the surface. So we've kind of touched on that already today. So the next one that came up was the Hanged Man. Now with this one, it's like I feel with the grids here coming through the back, this kind of state of gridlock where we don't know which direction to move forwards into and essentially how to move forwards because we're kind of stuck in this position. However, it is just an illusion because we can quite easily take the foot out of the loop and, you know, twist around and pull the nails out. So it's all the kind of like, I feel like pressure mounting, and we can see this as like really being pulled from both sides, pressure on both sides to kind of make a choice to be where do we want to go to. Now, as many of you will know already, we can always choose whichever way we want to, and the best way for the highest outcome, you can always just hand it over to source by asking for the highest possible outcome for you. That's for your highest good. So, you know, just to little tips and tools and ways just to navigate and come out of like stagnation, coming out of areas of troubled water, if you will. Okay, and then the final one that I pulled was this defeat card, the Five of Swords. Now, with that one, I feel very much like there is confrontations building, ones that we haven't really looked at, the ones that we haven't really we've been avoiding to have the confrontation, if that needs to be. You know, sometimes it just needs to be said, and even if you feel like you've lost the fight, so to speak, at least it's been said and done. So you can kind of progress and move forwards with your life. Yeah. So the real trick of this, I feel, is like change the pattern to change the outcome. So yeah. Okay. So before we run into meditation, I have got Self-Care Sunday, which will be on the Monday, the 1st. So it's a Self-Care Monday this time at 6 p.m. purely because the following weekend I am at a festival looking after my baby niece whilst my brother sings on stage with his partner and baby's mum. You know, so I've got to do the good uncle duties and play with the baby. So yeah, so that's Self-Care Sunday. I'm going to leave the logins for that down below. Monday at 6 p.m. on the 1st of August, and the next event will be on Monday the 8th of August. So when I'm back from the festival, I think I'm going to put that at either 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. UK time. And that will be for the Lionsgate webinar. Okay, well, we'll do a healing calibration, activation, focusing into all of these areas that we've discussed today. And I'll leave the links below for this as well in the description, and on the newsletter. It will also be on my website as well. Yeah, and then the final one, to complement this lovers card, this union, I will be doing on the 22nd at 6 p.m, which is again a Monday. I'll be doing the twin flame calibration. So yeah, so that'll be quite great. I'll leave that down below once again. And just to remind you as well, or not to remind you, to tell you that in September I have 2 live events. I'm at the Health and Healing, no, I'm not. I'm at the Rosemary Douglas Stockport Health and Healing Festival, which is at the Masonic Hall. So that will be interesting. We can maybe see those black and white checkerboard mutations for real. So yeah, I'm gonna scan the place first beforehand, just to do any clearing that needs to be done. That's on the 3rd and the 4th of September, and then at the end of September, on the 23rd, 24th, in Manchester, for the White Lights event, I'll be displaying at the Health and Wellbeing and Yoga Festival, something like that. So that will be really great as well, and I think it's the biggest one in the country, as far as I'm aware. There'll be people doing yoga classes. I'll be doing talks on both days for both weekends, and there'll be other really amazing practitioners as well that are there to tend to your needs. And I will post on my blog or leave the links down below, any of the above. So yeah, I'll be doing 30-minute sessions of holographic work with people that come in there. Okay, so I think that's everything. It's been quite a long one today. Thank you for staying by, and we'll just do a quick meditation here. And if you do feel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and hit the notifications bell, because I send out multiple meditations a month to help you guys balance and stay harmonized through all the chaos. So yeah, okay. And we begin now by taking a deep breath in, breathing in magenta tonal light, moving in from the 360. Hakuras na yotrososos mo na yekiereshist. Tanas maras na yokuras mo otra. Senishnia trasha sam nama ya krasnaya trushosos. streaming through golden light through the vertical axis. Connecting through the body as we lift and release out all grey tone, grey matter, any gridlock through the vertical axis and horizontal intercept. And as this hanged man gridlock depiction appears through the intercept, I begin to feel heavy pain through my heart. And I can see multiple swords coming down in gold, spinning and cutting the ropes where he is suspended. Aqua mesh moving from the event horizon, moving through the primordial black, aligning through the vertical with the golden light of the sun shining through the horizontal, shining through the 360, dissolving the black tones. Releasing out the pressure, releasing out anger. As we look through the center of the heart, I can see the inversion of the ankh. As we run reversal now, to correct the orientation, aligning through the heart gates, connection to the crucifix, to the cross. Releasing out gridlock patterns through the matrices of the horizontal, and through the vertical. As we get to the top of the cross, we begin now to see the inverted crucifix here, running reversal to correct. And coming through the back side, I can see the white dove. And the Holy Spirit, as they blend and merge as one, corrected, alchemy aligning through center point of the perfect eye, Saras Mayo Toro Shosus, updating through the blueprints, aqua spirals of light moving through each chakra from back to front. Spheres of platinum moving through the spins. Full body release. Releasing out grey tone from the horizontal axis, building in beautiful platinum light through the horizontal. Graduating through the scalar, vertical, and through the upward motion and through the downward. And each connecting one to the sun, the other to the core, the diamond core of the earth. Releasing out impatience. Emerald light returns through tonal arc light. Updating to the toroidal field as diamond light emerges, building through center, building through the depths of your light. Correcting to the tree of life. As the solar light blends and merges with the tree. Turning the tree into a beautiful diamond tree of life, extending up, connecting through to Heaven's Gate. Connecting to the galactic grids and roots growing deeper to the core. Drawing in the light frequency from star systems, opening through the diamond gates. The diamond gates now illuminating with golden codes through the architecture. And as you pass through, We're coming into the grand halls, the grand diamond halls, to drink from the fountain of youth. Sayos Moroshosos Naotia. Taking the chalice and filling the chalice with this crystal diamond liquid light. And going ahead and drinking and it just feels like almost like drain cleaner, dissolving, real density, so much heat coming through the body, pulsation squeezing through the throat and the third eye. Activating the white flame, the white diamond flame, through the third eye, through the throat, and the magenta flame also. Body's getting lighter. Through each chakra system, these flames run through. Resurrecting structures. Mayotrashtasos noikia. Seresnia trashnayam samatabasmayo koroshosus. Structuring any collapses through the architecture. Right the way down to the root, through sacral, through solar. Ruby tone restoration, full rainbow pastel tonal restoration, and rich tones like the gradients are returning, restoring. And we can now update through the localized grids and update your fields. Sailing forward through all levels or layers of light. And when you feel ready, you can bring yourselves back around. And thank you so much for staying and listening. And I'll look forward to hearing from you very soon. I hope to see you at the Self-Care Monday and the Lionsgate and the Twin Flame, if that's what you feel aligned to. Sending you so much love. Have a lovely day, everyone. Bye.